Hi, I'm Paul Batch. We're going to work on some painting today. I am going to do a little color study based off of a recent trip to the Cape. Skaket Beach is really known for its fantastic sunsets, and we're going to try to recreate one of those here in the studio. We're going to start with a small color study, and I hope to use this for a larger piece, but that doesn't matter. We're just going to play around with some colors. Now, one of the nice things about the Cape is how flat and like endless it seems to be at times. The ocean obviously contributes to that, but depending on the time of day and where the tide's at, you can just get these endless sort of levels of um, descending. Yeah, descending. We'll say descending, maybe cascading. Land masses that go off into the distance into forever. And we are going to drop the sun in there and get some small reflections and see where we're at. We're going to try to keep this real simple. We want to say a lot, but without adding a whole bunch of stuff. So let's get to it. On my panel, I'm working on a 6x8" ampersand gesso board panel. My palette, I'm using my Hugo Pichard box for this. And paints from left to right. Mostly Michael Harding colors. If it's not, I'll say it. So we have bright yellow lake, Indian yellow red shade, titanium white number 3. The number 3 just means it has additional dryers in it, so to speed up the drying time. This is a Williamsburg color. This is Juan Brilliant. Over here we have transparent yellow oxide, transparent red oxide, Gamblin's quinacridone magenta, Old Holland's cadmium yellow orange, Gamblin's Portland warm gray, Gamblin's radiant magenta, King's blue light, ultramarine blue, and lamp black. Down here is a little goop of Gamblin's Neo Miguel. That's my medium. And for brushes, I'll most likely just be using a series of Treacle long flats. These are series Spectrum 3000 long flats by Treacle. That's the stuff. I also have a little jar of turp on the side. And we'll get to the painting. I'm going to lightly tone my canvas using a little bit of turp on my brush, just enough to get it, wet. And we're going to lightly wash that over the panel. You can do this ahead of time and let it dry. I like to work on everything while it's wet, so I do it this way. Now, once that's sort of on there, I'm going to take a paper towel. I have a box of these blue shop rags, so this is what I use. And we'll just wipe off the excess here. Using my palette knife, we're going to mix up a couple colors. I've been on a pink kick, so we're going to keep doing the pink. I got some quinacridone magenta, King's blue light, of course, as soon as I start, I get a tickle, right? Now, before I start really painting, a lot of times I like to mix out a few color estimates as to where I will be or things that I will need so that I don't have to stop so much in the painting. I find that if I get like 3 or 4 values mixed up, especially depending on the size of the piece, this is a little painting, so it's not a huge deal. But if I do some planning ahead of time, it usually makes the whole painting experience a little more enjoyable. So I'm going to spend a little time mixing up the colors here. I'll just fire off what colors I'm throwing in there. The proportions are who knows what, right? It's all relative to each other. This pink's too intense, so I don't want it that intense. So I'm going to take some Juan Brilliant. That's going to increase the value, but also desaturate the color. That's not the word I'm trying to say, but it will make the color less saturated. So that's not bad. I want the pink to come up from a sort of blue distant haze. So we'll take King's Blue Light, grab a little bit of ultramarine just to deepen its value and its intensity. Smidge the quinacridone, which was a smidge too much because the whole thing went too dark. Grab some of the Radiant Magenta. And then we'll need a lighter value, and for that I'm going to come into white. And we'll use the warm yellow, which is the Indian yellow red shade. You can see how intense that is. Over here it doesn't look like it's going to be that bright, but once you mix it with the white, it's a heck of a color. And it's got good tinting strength. Like, it's pretty thin, so it's good for glazing, which I do a lot. Then I'm going to need some sort of dark to represent the land. We're not going to get too fussy about it. I'm going to grab some transparent red oxide, a little bit of ultramarine, and the warm gray. Just looking to get a dark that's on the cooler side. Right now it's a dark that's on the browner side because of all the red oxide. So I'll add a little bit of blue to it. Add a little bit more blue. Oh my gosh, and we'll add black. Why not? Yep. I don't think that that's going to be quite dark enough. So rather than keep messing with that pile, I'm going to take that, I'm going to move it over here. Actually, that looks like it's probably dark enough. I'm going to give myself a real dark anyway, so just in case I feel like it. So we'll get that by mixing black, blue, and just a touch of red oxide. No grays or nothing. Just keep that nice and dark, honestly. So all the colors relate. Let's just add a little quinacridone to it. Boom. So there you go. You know, I got a little bit of everything mixed in there. Now here I'm going to take my long flat. This one's seen better days, as we can see. I'm horrible about taking care of my brushes. This is a size 6 long flat from Treacle. I'm going to grab a little bit of medium. We're going to come into this darker shade down in here, this dark purple. I'm going to hold my brush from the back a little bit, and we're just going to get ourselves a horizon line. I'm going to grab a little bit more medium. We're going to brush this up. Now while that's all, I think that'll be fine. Okay, let's grab a little more paint down in here. I don't know. I had something sort of sticking up on the panel, so I wanted it gone. There's like a physical thing there. Might be just some glue residue. So we got a nice deep purple base. I'm going to rinse my brush in the terp, come back, grab a little bit of medium. I'm going to come to my lighter value over here with the pink. We're going to, what the flip? That's the same value. That's the same value. That's crazy. It looks pretty different down here, but I ain't getting much anything up here. Okay. Well, I'm going to take that color. I'm going to stick it down in here then. It's slightly different in value, but it's really not enough to make it a big deal about anything. So I'm going to lighten up this bottom part. So much for all that planning ahead of time, Paul, right? I'm sort of fading it down into that deeper blue. I'm going to wipe this off because this was wrong. Now I want to have a lighter value, so I'm going to dip my brush in some of the medium. I'm going to grab some white. I'm going to grab this Radiant Magenta. I'm going to grab this one Brilliant. I'm going to load up my brush real good. I've got some medium on there. Warm it up a little bit. Warm it up a little bit more with a touch of orange. totally not exciting. Okay, more white. Here we go. Now we got a value shift. I'm going to just bring that down into the dark that we already have established below. I am sort of blending with my long flat here. Lay the paint down and sort of give it a light grip. And then just sort of drag it back and forth from the back. Okay, let's not do too much of that. Let's get a bit much. Oh, that's too hard of an edge. Now, when the sky hits the water, we're going to do a value shift and color shift. We're going to grab this King's Blue light. And what the heck with it? I'll just stick it right in here. I don't have a whole lot of working room in this situation. Here, this will be where the water is. So that's distant water. Now I'm going to wipe my brush clean. I'm going to cover about half the brush in the dark, half the brush in the light. And we're just going to go right across. Wipe the brush. Do it again. Wipe the brush. Do it again. This time from the other side. Just want a nice soft line back there. At this point, I'm grabbing a smaller long flat. I've got a size 2 and a little bit of medium. We're going to go push the dark around a little bit. I'm going to give myself some sandy beach up in the front. It's okay to come right across. I love it when you tell someone you're an artist and they're like, oh my god, I can't even paint a straight line. I cannot paint a straight line either. So I don't know who set that as the benchmark, but I've got a little bit of the blue on my brush. I use this sort of eraser. I'm going to hold my brush from the very end like this. And we're going to drag it across. Just sort of soften that up. I want to have some of this pink down in here in the water. So we can start adding that in there. Now these dark masses just represent sand. The water, the ocean doesn't, it's not all flat. The beach isn't all flat, right? So you up and down, and as the water recedes, you see these like, they're not mounds, but they're just little, I don't know, lines of sand. I don't know what you call it. Soften this down here. I just got a clean brush, just dragging it across back and forth. I want to take some of this blue that we have, Um, and I'm going to throw it up in the sky here. I'm going to put some up in the sky. Throwing it up in the sky doesn't sound right. Added some white and Wand Brilliant to it. That looks okay. Plus it just gives us another color up in here. We don't need to go nuts, just throw it around. So we've sort of arrived at this like middle gray sort of area. It's not very gray. It's kind of gray. But now we've got to add some punch to it. Now we start the painting off with a warm wash. We paint over it in mostly cool colors. And now we're going to come back and finish with our warmth. I've got a paper towel wrapped around my finger. And we're just going to wipe out a little hole here for our sun. Before we do that, I think I'm going to give it a little more of a, I don't want just a circle. So actually we're just going to wipe away an area here. I'm going to add some warmth to that spot. I'm going to clean off my brush. I've still got the size 2 treacle long flat, a smaller one. I want to build a little bit of a warm home for our sun. I've got a little bit of medium on my brush. I'm going to come with my orange and see this yellow? We're going to borrow some of that yellow. Okay, so we're going to pretty much ruin that yellow. But start putting that in there. Wipe my brush clean. Okay, so I didn't wipe my brush clean, but I wiped off the paint off my brush. Why? Because I've got yellow and purple and I can get muddy quick. And when I'm dragging it across, I don't want to then go back into the yellow and muddy that all up. So we're trying to keep the brush a little clean. Now we'll take a little bit of the orange. Just sort of create a transition, right? Take the brush. I'm going to bring this color up into the sky a little bit. Now I will get, I don't know, I just need a smaller brush here for, what's this? I don't know, it's a little round brush. The kind of brush is now washed away, so some sort of small round, a little bit of medium, grab some white, right into the yellow here. This is a warm yellow. And where do we put the dot? Let's stick the dot right here. Coming back with my size 2 long flat. I want to get this color moving around a little bit more. Let's push the pink. Quinacridone into the orange. It's going to be too dark in value. I'm going to add some more orange, grab more of the yellow, a little more quinacridone. Come over here and push the swoop. There, I screwed up my circle. That's fine, it's for the best. I just didn't want the color to feel so isolated. And I mean, it's a good thing having the, colors move around the panel, canvas, whatever you want to paint it. Let's brighten that up in value a little bit. So it seems to be a little bit of like sort of reflection up there. Subtle, right? Just a little bit of color. get a little deeper with the pink here, a little more quinacridone. Fire this across here. Now I'm going to come back and mess with my dot. I'm going to grab that round brush again, just a small one. White, a little bit of medium, a little bit of the warmer yellow. That's the Indian yellow red shade. I'm going to take my long flat. It's got some paint on it. I just didn't clean it. And we're going to do this. Hard edge up top, a particular dab. We'll come back and reinforce the dot with some more white and yellow. The long flat that I didn't clean, just in my other hand, I'm going to just try to increase the value of this little area right here. It just felt a little dark. Want nice gradual transitions. I'm going to drag that color all the way across the composition. I think it's sort of rising up unnecessarily. So I will also add some stuff just going right across here. And maybe we can make a little subtle statement. I've got some pink, the radiant magenta, I'm sorry, and a little bit of quinacridone, a little bit of orange, a little bit of yellow, a little bit of everybody. Just take that same color and smooth this a little bit. Smooth it. Lighten its value so there's less of a value shift. There's a little bit of a value jump right here. So we'll just take some of that brighter color and put it on top. Now, reflection. Got my round brush with the yellow. I'm going to wipe this clean. And just like up in the sky where we built our little warm homes, we're going to do the same down here. Wrap my finger, dot, bring it straight down. I can't do it straight down. Try to bring it down. Yeah, again, not very straight. But you can see where we're getting at, right? I've got my size 2 long flat. We're going to build up our warm home, a little bit of medium. We're going to come with our darker colors. I've got the cat orange, the magenta. That's too dark. I'm going to just grab some white then and lighten that in value. A little orange. I want to make sure I'm pushing the warmth enough. I've got my small round brush here. Grab a little bit of medium, bright yellow. It's not, it's white with the Indian yellow red shade. I haven't used the bright yellow red. I'm going to grab this gray. I'm going to sort of, oops, it's a little too dark, I think. But I want to clean up my beach sand over here. I grabbed a little bit of Wand Brilliant and a little bit of yellow oxide. Yellow oxide from the beginning of the painting. I'm going to bring that back just a little bit. Let's grab a little more of it. It's almost reading green because of the yellow oxide, so I'm going to grab a little bit of red oxide to warm that up a little bit. And bend it from green to a little, just more neutral. Now we've got a pretty simple piece here. If you want to add stuff to this, I mean, little people, little birds, that kind of stuff always does well. Right? And you see them out there. You know, you go out there and it's I always like go, oh, cue the birds when I see them coming across. But I mean, it's just that pretty out there. Now I want to take some of this water. Let's see if this is too bright. No, I think All right, so there we have it. It's a little color study from Memories of Skaket Beach. That's what we'll call it. If you enjoy this kind of content, please hit the subscribe button, and I hope to see you again soon. Thanks.